The Jerome Powell era is officially over. President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh to lead the Federal Reserve. The results, uh, mixed at best. Gold came down from all-time highs. Silver came down from highs and has seen losses that we haven't seen in decades. Stock market is trying to find its footing as the world prepares for Warsh regime. Yeah, those are just some of the things we're going to cover in this video. Hi, I'm Marcus Sturban, founder of the ABC Squared. Uh, just so you know, I spent some time reaching out to major media outlets, Yahoo, uh, the Economic Times, then the Wall Street Journal. And some of the things that we've been speaking about are gold, Trump baby accounts, the credit card cap, and obviously the Federal Reserve and the IRS. Oh, and tax refunds. So those are some of the things just want to talk about in this video real quick. Just a few minutes just to help Main Street meet Wall Street. That is my mission. Uh, Also, we'll talk a little bit about budgeting. I just began an affiliate deal with Monarch Money, so I'll have a link in the description for anyone who wants to try Monarch Money for their budgeting. Uh, just so you know, if you use the link, I may be compensated for the link, but that's just something I want to get out there. So let's get right into it. Like I said, gold is flush today. Gold and silver, precious metals have been at all-time highs as recently as a couple days ago. These are seen as a flight to safety. People wanted to diversify their assets outside of dollars. We've seen this as the reserves in other countries have risen. The dollar is actually no longer the largest reserve in central banks. We've seen this flight to gold. Correspondingly with this flight to gold, we continue to see a flush in Bitcoin. Bitcoin struggling to maintain the $80,000 level as we speak. As we know, Bitcoin trades 24 hours a day, so that could change at any minute. But maybe we're seeing the Bitcoin halving that happens every 4 years. Maybe it's an effect, or maybe Bitcoin is just looking for some more stable ground for its footing as well. Very fascinating to see this movement and divergence from Bitcoin and gold, as they were once what people consider to be, one was a digital gold and one was actual physical gold. Now we see the actual physical gold minus today in recent times outperforming, having historic runs last year. Some have suggested oil may be gold for this year, as oil has had a terrible run. And we look to see prices finally pushing up towards the $70 mark. Maybe the Venezuelan excursion that we have going on right now. We have Chevron down there, some other major big oil companies could come down there, and that could just continue to boost oil. Not to mention tensions in Iran and other geopolitical areas where oil and gas are instrumental. So gold, like I said, has had a historic run. So it's even with the losses that we see right now, still depending on when you entered in the gold, you should still have a good hold on some gains. But some of the losses we see right now very well may be people taking profits inside the gold. So it could just be a shift from gold and Bitcoin and the stock market. Why are people so worried about Kevin Warsh? I mean, he isn't your usual business as usual type pig. He's been a reformer. You know, he talked about the Fed's bloated balance sheet. He's not really a fan of quantitative easing. He wants to see a stronger dollar, higher productivity through AI. And yeah, he just thinks that the Fed should stop printing money and solve every problem. So I'm not saying these are bad things or good things, just perhaps different things. President Trump mentioned when asked about uh, Kevin Warsh if they spoke on interest rates and whether he would demand Kevin Warsh to lower them. And he said he wouldn't demand anything, but Kevin Warsh shares the view that we need lower interest rates. So take that as you want to take it heading into the second half of 2026. Jerome Powell's still the chair, but if you saw his conference the other day, he seemed resonant in the fact, maybe saying that he was nearing the end of his term. There's still plenty of turmoil to go inside of the Fed. Nominee Warsh also pushes for less Fed speak. He says just noise. And one big hurdle inside this nomination is the Senate Finance Committee, where Thom Tillis continues to say he will not move any process forward on any nominee until the investigation with Chairman Powell is resolved. Other things we've been talking about. Credit card caps. So President Trump made a statement earlier in January that he wanted to see banks cap credit cards at 10%. I spoke with Yahoo Finance, and it was actually covered in an article in the Economic Times. We'll put the articles down in the description. About some of these issues and where they could happen. I actually spoke with Charlotte Business Journal as well once we saw that banks have started making moves to let these happen. Initially, with his January 20th deadline, I thought that couldn't happen. But now, as we see banks working towards it, it's a real possibility that it could happen. Bank of America points out that they already offer options below 10%, as do some of these other big banks. They offer, 0% interest, or for an extended period, they offer balanced transfers, things of that nature. But when he was initially asked, Brian Mulroney said that you would have to have a credit score in the mid 700s to qualify for one of these credit cards. In effect, if that was the case, what you would see is people having to search for credit card options or credit options, maybe in check cashing places or places that charge higher interest, as people with better credit would still be able to obtain credit, but people with lower credit may be disenfranchised with their credit, not able to obtain credit, completely lose their credit cards. So that's just the interesting juxtapost right there. Some moves you can make if you're looking at that situation. Some pros and some cons. Some pros would be that if you are locked into an interest rate, say you have a higher one that's in the 20s, 25, 30%, and you get put into a credit card that's down to 10%, you can take the opportunity to pay off some debt, as much more money would be going towards your principal and not your interest payment. You can also look to transfer the debt over from a higher credit card balance to a lower one. And you can hopefully improve your credit in general, just your credit habits and your credit financing. Because if you don't have the mindset shift that you need in this type of situation, you'll just be in the same situation when the credit card rates go back up. I was asked if banks can financially sustain this. Of course they can. For a year, sure. Banks have a lot of leverage to pull. I think they may offer just some stripped down versions of the cards that they're offering, just something with no perks, no rewards. But banks can make it 10%. Banks can hold it for a year. And that's evident by we see banks right now working to implement these cards to meet the government. So whether we get it through legislative means, as the president suggested, or we just kind of see the industry work towards their method to accommodate this request, it looks like we may see 10% credit card caps. And for some credit cards, we'll see. And the call is for 1 year with the credit card cap, so we'll see. Another big topic we've been talking about, and won't go too long on this one, I'm trying to get too political, is Greenland. And this was big before the Davos conference last week, when President Trump made his speech. He had mentioned possible military intervention into acquiring Greenland. He took that option off the table. So, and when he did, the market actually moved up. The market has been moving up and down. Another thing to mention right now is that what you're hearing, you have to learn to look past the noise if you're investing. This isn't individual investment advice. This is generally good topics for everyone, okay? Look through the noise. Remember why you're invested. Remember what you're focused on. Your why is important, especially when things get down, especially when things go down and things get hard. So with the Greenland initiative, President Trump said that we've reached a framework. One of the main concerns with Greenland is the Golden Dome initiative that we are seeking protection. Another big part is the critical minerals. But the president did state that the minerals themselves aren't necessarily the problem, it's more the refinement process. So the U.S. doesn't really import too many things from Greenland. Seafood may be one of our bigger imports, so I don't know if the imports are one of the bigger problems, but we have a framework with Greenland, so we'll see where that goes. We've had frameworks with a lot of things before. Another thing that came up this recently, sitting down and speaking, and actually did a deep dive in this. I'll put a link to this video. Well, earlier or in last year, where we spoke about Trump's baby accounts. Very new thing that just went into effect. You can go online and sign up. You'll fill out Form 4547. And yes, that's the numbers that he was president. 4547, Form 4547 with the IRS. These accounts for newborn babies born in 2025 through 2028 will be funded with $1,000 seed money. You can set these up for children, I believe, under 10, as some outside people have announced that they will contribute. This seems to be an effort from the government to get some private sector contributions. We have Ray Dalio, who's committed to contribute to accounts for people under 10. We had JP Morgan and some other corporations where they said they are going to come in and contribute to their employees' children's accounts if they would like as a perk. Inside these accounts, if some of the math shows that if you let these things go, so the baby accounts are set up and they're inside indexes, $1,000 invest inside indexes. These indexes are U.S. traded indexes. They have to be U.S. indexes. That's one of the things inside this bill. It has to be U.S. indexes that are traded. So these indexes grow, these investments grow, even if you don't touch them from now until they're 18. You can't contribute to the accounts. Parents can, grandparents can, like I said, private businesses can. So you can contribute to the accounts every year. There is a limit. These accounts are with the seed money, the $1,000 seed money, that stops after 2028. These are not permanent. This is just part of the Tax Cut Job Act extension in the big beautiful bill. Like I said, I have a deep dive video on that we can show later. I'll put in the link. How about that in the description? So once you set up these accounts, you can take out the money at 18 for college expenses, but there's also other accounts for this, 529s, usually TMAs. There are different accounts that are already set up, but you can take the money out for this, like I said, for college or any life expense, or you can leave it in there. And if you leave it in there, they've shown projections where if you leave it in there till you're like 65, these things can grow well into six figures. So it shows the power of compound interest, one of the strongest forces in the world, compound interest in nature. Einstein said it, but I want people to realize it cuts both ways. So that goes even time back to the credit cards. Like with this credit card debt, if we get the 10% cap, people should look at paying down their debt, because that will be an opportunity with the credit card cap. Back to the baby accounts. So another thing, like I said, people can contribute to them up to a certain amount every year. These are pre-tax accounts. So once they reach full tax maturity, or once you decide to take a distribution from them, you will pay taxes on them. So some people have worried if this could be a fun, quote unquote, sludge fund like Social Security, where the government begins taking funds from it, using loans against it. This money is going to be invested in indexes. So I guess the only way they really could do that is if they use some type of mortgage-backed security loan, but it will be on the balance sheet. So who knows? But these will be individual personal accounts to the American children, the American people. So we'll see with that. One thing that I'm wondering about, and maybe I missed this, is why these accounts are pre-tax, meaning that these accounts grow without taxable income, or they grow tax deferred, I should say. And when you take the money out, you have to pay taxes then. That's kind of like a big loan payment to the government, in my opinion, when you have to pay these taxes. It's a big tax refund for them. But we'll see. It's new as far as it goes. This is one of the things that kind of jumps out to me. And also, who has control? Can an adult go into a child's account and take the money if the child's not ready? But Brad Gerstner over at Altimeter Some of the guys over at Robinhood, they really helped lead this initiative with the administration. So it's a good thing to get kids help with financial literacy. That's a big thing that's missing in this world. So just to get them started, just to help them have a conversation about stocks, bonds, financial literacy, so they can see the ups, the downs inside the market, and eventually what happens. Stocks go up and to the right if you leave them in there long enough, especially in the indexes. So that right there could be a boost to the stock market in general. Once again, not financial advice. Financial advice needs to be personalized advice. If you need some personalized financial advice, ABC squared up in the corner. We can reach out and talk about that. This is just some general information that I'm giving out. Another thing another big topic, it's the one big beautiful bill act has been tax refunds. So we've been talking about some of the advantages of the tax refunds. Tax refunds, or in general, you should expect everyone to see a bigger tax refund. One of the questions with these standard deductions, if you have a SALT tax of $40,000, you have a standard deduction on overtime up to, I think it's 12.5 right now, $50K. Did Americans pay too much into taxes last year? Right? Should we have had more disposable income into our pocket? That's a question for later. But so one of the things, like we said, the increase in the SALT cap, so state, area, local tax. That's going to help with people who are in higher tax areas. So New York, California, people who own multiple properties, people who are in higher tax brackets. That usually helps, or the higher up in the tax bracket you get in people who own multiple properties. So if you're in just the middle tax bracket, some of these benefits help you, some of them don't. They increase the child care with the child care credit limit with the tax app went from $2,000 to $2,200 per child. They also, inside the big beautiful bill act, they increase bonus depreciation for businesses. So we've seen business owners already start to use that benefit, and there's just a plethora of other things inside that bill. Like I said, there's another video in there that I'll put in the descriptions, a deep dive on the big beautiful bill. I mean, we go a couple hours on that thing. So we've been talking about it for a while. So we're not just getting started here with the big beautiful bill and these tax acts. So we've talked about the credit cards, we've talked about baby accounts, we've talked about your tax refunds. People also generally tend to see that as a boon to the economy. We spoke about Federal Reserve Chairman nominee Kevin Warsh. There's so much going on. I also want to mention again that if you're doing personal budgeting, you should check out Monarch Money. They're offering half off right now for the first year. Like I said, I can be compensated if you use the link that I'll provide in here. But it's actually good I use it. I've used it with clients where I can link to it as their financial advisor, and we can both look into their budgeting. We can have more real reaction budgets. This seems to work better with people who are, I don't want to say you have to be tech savvy, but some people who are, a little more into the tech. It works better to start if you want to start out on your desktop. But once again, it's Monarch Money. The description will be in the link, and I can be compensated for that. You need personalized financial advice, you can reach out to me, Marcus Sturvant, the ABC Squared. Perfect. So back to the markets. January's been choppy. We saw gold and precious metals lead the way to start. We saw small caps, which were on a historic run. That seems to have paused. And the market just seems to be finding its foot. And it appeared that the market was looking to broaden out with a cyclical trade. But now we seem to see areas like when we do see increases that seem to be moving back into the mega cap, the Mag 7, as people refer to them. So the AI bubble is still a question that people have. That's one big question for people right now is the AI bubble. Another big question is capital spending. People are asking about Bitcoin, blockchain. Is the AI investment real? We saw where Microsoft took a big hit yesterday or a couple of days ago with their market cap when they reported some confusing information. And we also saw on the other side of that where Meta just shot up as they reported clear information. Both reported increased spending, but Meta appeared to have a clearer vision. Once again, this is definitely not investment advice. Don't go out and just buy these stocks because we're talking about them. This is just for, informational purposes, so you can see the divergence inside where you see a Meta or you see a Google or you see a Microsoft. So I think that's what we're going to cover today. Once again, Marcus Stirrup with ABC Squared. Let me know if there's anything anyone wants me to cover, go deeper into. Like I said, talk about a lot of different things inside the market, inside the world. Check out the Monarch Money app. Download it. The link will be in the description. I'll download some of these articles that I've spoken about, and just stay strong, Main Street. Remember Main Street. That's all about us. We're the ones who really make the economy go. Another thing, the PPI came in this morning. So are we seeing inflation tariffs? Are we seeing any pressure from that coming in yet? We'll see. I don't know. It's the PPI. But that's for another video. Let me know if there's something y'all want me to discuss deeper. I have videos on blockchain, a nice full panel people seem to enjoy. Just check out my channel, subscribe, like, share, and yeah, help the world, help Main Street meet Wall Street. That's my mission. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see y'all next time.